Okay, hello feryad and Glara. Here's a little video just giving you some feedback on how you drew these parts. Now this feedback is not explaining things you need to necessarily change in your design. I talked to you about that already after the lab. This video is only talking about how you did the modeling. Okay, so let's look at this one. This one you've actually done very well on. There's no changes that you need to do. So things I'm looking for, I'm making sure that you define every sketch that is constrained. You have those dimensions given. That's fully constrained. That's good. This sketch is constrained. Excellent. Yeah, you give that whole. This hole here is constrained. Excellent. And even the location of that hole, you've made it constrained as well. Okay. Now, one other thing I would say is I think your intention is that this be in the middle. So instead of using a dimension, I would delete that. Okay. And what I would do is add a construction line that goes through the middle like this. Okay. Now, with that construction line then, I can constrain this to be on that construction line. You see that? So now, oops, sorry, the video. There you go. Okay. Anyway, now it's in the middle and you didn't actually have to define that 10 dimension. Okay. So that would be a better way to do that. The hook you've done really well here. You've defined your sweep path. Everything you've defined. Again, the only change I would make is I would not use that 10 dimension, but I would make a construction line here and constrain the point to be on that construction line just like I did on your previous part. Okay, now remember, like I talked about in the lab time, this hole should not be underneath here, but you should put it over here on this side. Okay, now this is your main problem. Y'all have the end of part up here, and if I drag it down, you have something like this. So you should delete all of this other stuff that you don't need. Okay, I'm not going to do it now, but you should only have the things in your part that you actually need. Okay, so delete all of that. The other thing, I don't think you intend for this cylinder to come, or that let's say hook or tab, whatever that is, to extrude out here. That's not good. How did you make that? You use this extrusion. Okay, I see. You made it on the top here. You have defined the dimension. Now that 270 dimension doesn't make sense. You should not use a center line. That center line puts the dimension on the other side. Let's edit this. I'll show you a better way. So don't do that. Let's delete that. You can just dimension between, now notice since you've made, let me cut it. All right, since you've made a center line, I don't want to make it a center line. Let's turn it into a construction line. Okay. Now that I've made it a construction line, if I dimension between here and here, now it only gives me half of that, and that's a much more useful dimension. Okay. The other thing is I would not start this line up here, but you should start these lines here in the middle. Okay. If you do that, then it won't actually extend above this. Okay, so let me show you that just in case you're confused about what I'm saying. There's a plane in the middle. If I sketch on that plane, let's slice it. Okay, I can go make a rectangle that starts about here. Okay, you can always put your circle there. Right now, if you want to make sure that this is in the middle of this, there's a couple ways you could do that. One, I could make a construction line that goes from here to here. Okay, and now I can define this line to be on the midpoint of that. All right. Well, now actually one thing that didn't happen, you see this moved off the end of it. Okay, I'm trying to constrain this to the edge, but there's not a line there. I can project it. Okay, that helps, and then project this. Now that helps. I can make that on top of there and this on top of there. Now notice that turned blue, which means it's constrained to be in the middle. Okay? Anyway, that would be a better way to do it. So now when I extrude this and this, I would extrude symmetric. Okay? And notice it doesn't extend above. Anyway. Yeah, so make sure you have just all your sketches defined. Remember, on your design, you need something here that stops the rubber band from sliding. Okay, so don't forget about that. Yeah, here on this part, the main thing that you missed is think about the design intention. So you intend that this hole, that hole, and this one all have the same diameter, yet they're not linked. Okay, so for example, if I go change this, if I go change that to 5, well, only that one updates and these others don't. Okay, so you should use a variable name to link those dimensions. Okay, so for example, make this a diameter 1 equals, I don't know, 6. Okay, and then when you defined the diameter of this hole, instead of typing in a number, you can just type in diameter 1. And now it will be linked to that hole. All right, so that if I ever go change this number here, change it to 3, well, that one will change as well. Okay, so that's the main thing that you missed on that, but everything else on this part is done well. You did well with the sweep. Okay, all right, hope that helps.